Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Maria Fontana Show. Today's episode is all about self-regulation and emotional self-mastery. Now, when I first heard these words many years ago when I started my own personal development journey, I had no idea what the heck anybody was talking about. So I can tell you that it was definitely something that I had never been exposed to. I didn't know what these words meant, and I had no idea that we even could self-regulate ourselves and not flip out and not lose our shit and not go bananas when something went wrong. Nowadays the word triggered's really mainstream, but basically what that means is when something pisses you off or just pokes at you and pinches you and makes you have a reaction or brings you back to an old reaction. This is my take on what it all means. So, I'm going to cover in this episode three things that I've done. I help my clients do inside of the reinvention programs and when we work one-on-one to get major transformation in shifting how they self-regulate, how they master their emotions, and how they manage their life better so they have better relationships, can make better decisions, and can make better business choices too. It does improve everything when you work on these things. So, number one, what is emotion? Emotion is a feeling that goes through your body. So, the way I've learned an emotion is it travels through me. You feel it. You might feel it like a punch in the gut. You might feel it like someone's choking you. You might feel like you can't breathe. You might feel confused. It's what you feel, and everyone's emotions are different. What an emotion is your nervous system is responding to something, right? So when we're on edge and we're not regulated, our nervous system responds to different things. I remember a period in my life that if someone banged a door or dropped something, I would jump like out of my skin. And that's because I was not regulated. I was on freaking edge. I was like on pins and needles, as some people would say. So you want to really realize that feelings are feelings that can just move through you. Feelings don't make you be who you are. Feelings don't stay. Feelings are fluid. And for those of you that are watching this on video, I'm going up and down with my hands as if it's like water. Feelings, in my opinion, are fluid. Now, this is from all the reading, the investing I've done in my own personal development, in my own growth, in my own therapy, in my own self mastery. I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars in my own education and in working on my own shit. So the things I'm sharing with you are my personal experiences of what I've learned from different mentors and from doing things myself to better and process and up level myself. So, um, when we focus on staying stuck in the emotion and we don't let that move through us, we make the emotion become what is dictating our reaction. We react to something, right? Think about something that pisses you off and you immediately snap and react instead of stepping back, assessing, processing, and then being proactive, right? There's a difference. When we react, we usually do something that's a fast action. When we step back, and are in silence and let it process. And we step away and we do nothing. And we let our body, our brain, our intuition, and our soul assess. You are able to react differently. So, listening to your gut and not letting other people tell you what to do also is so important because sometimes when we're in a reaction, what happens? We get sucked into everyone else's emotions, right? Family, friends, coworkers, bosses, mostly family and friends. Okay. You get sucked into everyone else drama. And I want you to remember that someone else's emergency isn't necessarily your emergency. And this is really hard in families and relationships that are intermeshed. What does intermeshed means? Basically have shitty boundaries. You basically have core boundaries, meaning what's okay and what's not okay, what is okay for me, what is acceptable in my life, in my daily routine, in my how you speak to me, how we interact. Those are boundaries. Boundaries are you let someone know what's okay with you and what is not. So if you have loose boundaries, you're going to have much more reaction and much less emotional mastery because you're letting people cross lines that are not clearly drawn in the sand. What happens is when someone else brings their emergency into your vortex and you don't have clear boundaries. Now, I'm not saying don't be compassionate, and I'm not saying don't have empathy. Those are two super important things. I mean, I personally am one of the most loving, kind, empathetic, compassionate people you're going to meet, but I have really clear boundaries. And those are two totally different things. So make sure you're not letting people cross your boundaries and make their emergencies constantly your emergencies. So here's our three things that you can implement like immediately right after you listen to this podcast or watch this video and start shifting how you feel. I promise you that you will feel so much better, less pressure, less stress, less anxiety when you implement these anxiety reducing boundaries and steps into your life to help you regulate your emotions. Number one is every day invest in downtime. Now, when I started this, and my first healer and therapist told me I had to do this, I was like, what? I got no friggin' time. Like that was my motto. I had two little kids. I was going through a divorce. I was feeling crazy. I was depressed. I was overweight, blah, 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 blah. Like all the things. And when she told me I had to find time every day, she told me first 5 minutes a day to find time to just sit still, be quiet, and either listen to music I liked or breathe or do these mini meditations that she had given me. At the time, my children were small. I was running a business. I was about to lose my house. I was not in a good place. So she helped me create a routine where what I did was when I got up in the morning before the kids got up, I would go literally in the bathroom, put on the running water before I hit the shower, and I would just sit on the toilet with the toilet shut and I would do these exercises. And that became a habit. Then I made it 10 minutes. Then I started trying to implement doing it, maybe taking my kid for a walk in the carriage. So it was slow. I had to slowly weasel my way into doing this because it was something that was uncomfortable for me. I didn't know how to stop, I didn't know how to slow down. The next thing I did is I created a little nook in my house with a chair, and I loved to read. So I started to invest in going to the library and getting myself a book a week. And this is how I slowly implemented quiet time, downtime. Now, at this point, 24 years later, I have a regimen where I meditate, I pray a lot, right? I read, I go walking, I go to the gym. If you had told me I'd be doing this today 24 years ago, I'd be like, you are crazy. I am not doing that. But I do. So the first thing, step one is start out if you've not done anything, 5 minute increments at least 2 times a day to be still with yourself and breathe and just relax. Detach from all social media, turn off your phone, your TV, silence. I don't care if you sit inside, I don't care if you sit outside. Outside's actually better, but 5 minutes. Start out with 5 minutes. The second thing you're going to implement into your lifestyle is clearer boundaries, meaning when someone texts you something, calls you, tries to engage in like a conversation of something that you don't want to get into because it's going to cause you stress, anxiety, and it's not in the energetic place that you want to be, you're not going to answer the phone. Okay, this might be hard. I used to have to do this with my mother. I would see her phone number and nothing against my mother. I love my mother, but it was a period of time where I would get severe anxiety. So because I was working on myself, I had to not answer, right? I called back when I was in a moment that I could be mastered, Be calm and not be triggered. I don't text people back right away unless it's my children or my husband and it's an emergency. Work texts, any kind of emergency text, people flipping out, clients, I wait at least 24 hours before I respond because what happens is when you're not emotionally regulated, your anger, your fear, all those feelings are going to react and you're going to be texting, answering emails, fighting with people on the phone or saying things that are not conducive, peaceful, or going to move your life forward, right? They're going to keep you in a toxic cycle. So you have to break the cycle. And this is going to piss people off. It's going to piss off your family. It's going to piss off your toxic friends. It may piss off some toxic employees, but these are shifts that you're going to have to make to become emotionally self-regulated yourself. You have to create boundaries for yourself. And people do get used to it. It does take time, and some people may fall away from your life, which is absolutely fine because they're not aligned if they're causing you anxiety and stress and they're bringing toxicity into your vortex. You don't need that shit. You can't move and elevate and become more successful and more happy and wealthy if you are in those circles. I've been in rooms with people, meaning like masterminds and different programs I've joined, where people are so elevated. They're not better than me, but I noticed many years ago, they have clear boundaries. They are really careful who they share their time with, and they're really careful where they spend their time, right? And who they let into their inner circle. Clearer boundaries create more peace. And the third thing is just shut up. I learned this from a beautiful person I followed, and I read her book, Evie, and she was an ex-CIA agent, and she was a Secret Service and protected the president, and did all this stuff, and she was a cop. And she says that silence is the best thing. So if there is gossip, someone comes to start gossiping to you, if you just look at them and don't answer them, they're going to intuitively realize that you're not interested. Because if you join that gossip, you're just as guilty as that person. And then you're perpetuating toxic behavior and you're perpetuating negativity, right? We don't want that. That's not what you want. To be emotionally self-mastered and regulated, you have to take care of you. So just shut up, don't engage, say less, don't share all your personal good stuff with people who can't support you, and practice being more private. Be more discerning as to who you're sharing things with and why. And last but not least is physical activity. I have found that walking, simply walking, if nothing else, walking and breathing, doing breathing exercises and walking, even 10 minutes a day outside shifts your nervous system. I know some people, they say you can shake your hands out, you can like wiggle your body. There's a million things you could do. There's so many amazing professionals that talk about nervous system regulation, and that's their expertise. And these are a few things that I do. I shake my hands out. I just do some breathing exercises, and I do take regular walks outside. I make sure I get plenty of sleep. I have reduced my caffeine intake. I drink decaf all day, one regular coffee a day. And these are simple tweaks to regulating your nervous system. Guys, the bottom line is this: we're all human, but you can intentionally choose to start regulating yourself and reacting less. And if you're in a place where you're really not well, you're feeling depressed, you're in a dark night of the soul right now, get some support, get some help, get a therapist or get someone that can help you move through that. But remember, staying even in therapy too long, if you're not moving through stuff and you're just staying stuck, I think you need to make a shift because you have to own up to that, and you can't stay in the same crap for years. You have to move through it and keep going because that's how you get through things. Action destroys depression. That is how I got through everything, by taking action. Yes, is it painful? Yes, is it hard? Yes, is there bad days? Yes, yes, yes. But you can do this if you take action. So those are my tips for this week on self-regulation and self-mastery. As always, I'm sending you massive love and light. I want you, if you're ready to start regulating your nervous system, start regulating and self-mastering yourself, and get into the next steps of your reinvention, I want you to schedule a call with me or just head on over to my website and book in to work with me. I have different programs at different price points that are tailored just for you. Everything's custom tailored in the reinvention programs. It is all one-on-one work with me personally. You get massive transformation if you do the work. So head on over to mariafontana.com, book a free call, or schedule in to just work with me. As always, leave me a review if this podcast episode has touched you and helped you feel better today. Please like, share, and comment, and drop me a review on either Apple or Spotify. And I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being the light that helps me show up every week and share my story and my inspiration with you. Sending you all massive love and light. I'll see you next week on the podcast.